Good morning, brothers. So, hearty welcome for the classes on moral virtues. We'll be dealing this week on moral virtues. What do you understand by moral virtues? Any similar words or terminology that we have? Yeah? Good deeds, good behavior, charitable works, yeah, being human, yeah. So it is virtue is in the Catholic theology we use virtue. But in the secular world, it is used, the word is used value. Moral values we say. That's why in the secular world, any school and college, they also speak of moral values. But in Christian theology, we speak of moral virtues. As an introduction, just I want to give you a simile. What is ecology? We are familiar with the word ecology. Yeah, study of nature. But in moral virtues, we will be studying of human ecology. Ecology is about study of nature, but in moral virtues, we will be trying to understand human ecology. What is human ecology? Or in other terms, we can say, what is the purpose of life? So, in human life, we need to maintain the balance. We need to maintain the balance our relationship to God, and others. So we have to maintain that balance. We should not be too much other oriented, and at the negligence of the other, we can speak only towards God, but no human relationship. That also is too bad. So we grow to maturity when we maintain these two relationships. So that is one of the important guideline for us to grow to maturity. At times it happens, we will not be able to maintain this balance. So that's why we lose balance in life. But as Christians, followers of Jesus, we need to have this in our focus. How I can maintain the balance. So the term moral virtues, these both are Latin terms. The moral word comes from moralis. The word moral comes from the Latin word moralis, meaning a manner or style, comma, character, comma, proper behavior, a proper behavior, proper human behavior. Then the word virtue, second word, the virtue. This also comes from the Latin word virtus. Virtus. Virtus, meaning manliness or womanliness. Manliness or womanliness. The word virtus, also connected to our own local languages. With, not English with, Telugu, Vittanam. Or Vidyut, meaning power. Vidyut means power. Then with seed. What is the meaning of the Vittanam? Life or potency or power. So this is an inherent power, not adapted power, not borrowed power. It is an inherent being human. So virtue is already, the power is inherited within being human. So that we need to cultivate. That is our goal of life. Cultivating this, the power which is already within us, that we need to allow to grow. A virtuous life means we are allowing that power within us to grow, to come to maturity. And not only to come to maturity, afterwards bear fruits. So the power within is a gift, a God-given gift. It's a God-given gift. So we have the obligation to protect it, to nurture it, and to afterwards to bear fruits. So it's not a mere power, I received the power and I keep. No. We received the power, we have the obligation to take care of it, nurture it. Then afterwards, bear fruit. And that fruits are shared by others. So it's a fruitful life. Virtuous life is a fruitful life. But sometimes it happens, there are some barren trees. They grow well, but no fruits. Sometimes it can happen. As we see in the nature, There are some trees supposed to bear fruit, but they are not able to bear fruit. But it can happen also to us. Though we may be following Jesus, but we will not be able to bear fruits because something is wrong somewhere. So that's only an indication for us, to check our way of life and our goal and our path. So this is the very much important. Living a virtuous life is our vocation. Living a virtuous life is our vocation to follow Jesus. So as I said, the significance of term virtus, Latin word meaning power, it is a power to accomplish. It is a power to accomplish its specific function. It is a power to accomplish its specific function. In other words, we can say a property capable of producing certain effects. It is a property capable of producing certain effects. Producing certain effects. In other words, we can say it is a strength. It is a strength, force, a potency. So all this indicates the power hidden within us. So virtus means the power hidden within human beings. So reference we can see. Reference Gospel of St. Mark. Gospel of St. Mark, chapter 5, verse 30. 30. We remember the healing of a woman by touching the fringe of a garment of Jesus. When the crowd is there, but Jesus asked, "Who touched me?" Because he says, power went out of me. So that power is a healing power. That power is a mysterious power. So you and I, every human being, every follower of Christ is given this mysterious power within. So that we are speaking of that given power by God to each individual. That is called virtus. We should not misunderstand. Virtue means it is my generosity. Sometimes we say I am doing charity. Virtue God gives. It is a God's power given to each one of us, and that we take care to nurture it, to grow in good stead, and again to bear fruit. So that is a power, mysterious power within us. So that mysterious power we have to allow it to grow. So it is a very serious obligation. It is a great gift to each one of us. But each one of us have a serious responsibility. A serious responsibility of allowing this power to grow within us. So we must be able to have that power consciously developing. There are some people, they don't bother. They don't value this power. They don't allow it to grow. They bury it. When they are living just opposite, not taking care, not minding, then it will not grow. It will die out. The power will lose its power. That's why that's called life in under evil slavery. But now we are speaking these moral virtues or virtues given power, how we can develop, how we can nurture, and how we have to bear fruit. So that is our life goal. Everyone, every human being has the obligation to allow this within power to grow. Now, seeing this introduction as virtues or virtues means the power within, God-given power to come to maturity and bear fruits. Now, first point we see, is virtue out of date? Is virtue out of date? What do you say? Speaking of virtue now, are we of the age? Yeah, for believers, for followers of Christ, it has meaning, and we have to speak and we have to live. But when we see the present world, in the present world, if you are speaking about virtues, moral virtues, and life is confusing to the people who live without principles. People, those who are living without principles, without discipline, for them it is this way of living and trying to develop virtues is confusing. That's why you see the present world a lot of degradation of values. Degradation of values. Why? Because the discipline is lacking in upbringing. So it's a continuous process. It's a continuous process. But those who love discipline, they will have tasty life, a vigorous life, a happy life, because these moral virtues are guidelines that protect and that lead them to their goal. So that's why if the discipline is lacking in life, then we'll be lacking our goal. So it's a confusing. So that's why sometimes, so as believers, when we give priority to Jesus and His values and our human existence, our being human, and that this is a central point. Moral virtues are guidelines for our human life. But those who don't accept, or those who don't themselves be guided by the rules and regulations. For them, it is out of place. And they find it very hard. Then they say, I have shortcut, without this also I can live. Without this also I can live. But in the long run, they will not be successful. In the long run. That's why sometimes it is happening also, for time being, some clue, some technique to finish the work. Piecemeal work. Not in integrity, not in a systematic way of doing, not able to do. So that's they want to somehow manage. That's why sometimes we say, when you go to the new place, I don't know language, but I can manage. I don't know language, but I can manage. Yeah, manage how long? The best way of managing is learning the language. The best way of managing is learning the language. Afterwards, you can manage well. Some don't learn the language, but they manage. That's a dilemma. Yes. So that's why in moral life also, they don't want to get being disciplined. They don't want to follow the principles. But still, they want to live. So it's a dilemma. And when we speak of this human life, we speak of road maps. Are you familiar with the word road map? Road map? Yeah, now Google Maps you can say. But when we speak of virtues, Google Map has nothing. Your map should be there. So road map means your map. See, again is an example we are using. Road map in the earlier times. Now since we have all digital and Google, so at our fingertips it is there. But much more than that, life existed before Google existed. And life will exist even Google cease to exist. Yeah, at time it may cease. No problem. So, what is a road map? Road map is a clear guidance or in a paper that leads you, if you follow guidelines written by in the paper, stepwise you follow, then you will reach your goal. Early, now since Google, smartphones are there, we are using in the smartphone we use. But earlier, road maps are there, city maps. Hyderabad if you go, Hyderabad city map is there. Suppose New York if you go, New York city map is there. Or England. In all the cities, all the famous cities, they have. So, when the visitors come to that city, first what they will do? They buy a map of that. Then everything is written clear, street-wise, number-wise, all the directions and what all available in the city, everything there. Suppose I want to go to railway station. It shows where is the railway station. If I want to go to bus stand, it shows where the bus stand is. And suppose I want to find out, locate a person's house. If you have address, then it will be located. So that is a map which, if you follow meticulously the guidelines. Suppose if example is given, your friend's house is in the street number 51. Sometimes we hear 15 sure like a 15. So you don't see the map, you hear 50 as in 15. Then you go and search on 15, street number 15. Actually situated in 50. So 15 you will not find. Then again you will check what happened. So then only you will come to realize, so it's not 15, it's a 50, 50. So clarification of the terms, clarification of the guidelines to reach our destination. So here also in our life, we need to have also these road maps. Do you have Bible? Okay, one can get. Okay, in the map in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30, Deuteronomy, chapter 30, verses 15 to 20. to 20. So here Moses is saying to Israelites, if you want a good life, it is within your hands. If you don't follow commandments of Yahweh, it is in your life, in your hands. So you have to make a choice. Both ways are available. Both ways are in front of you. So what Moses spoke to Israelites then, now also God is speaking to each one of us. Both ways are in front of us. So it depends on you and me what path we choose. If we choose following commandments of God, principles of the society, guidelines of the society, and self-discipline, sacrifice, then we are choosing for life. So as Moses indicated them, you can choose life, you can choose death. Choose life means when we choose to follow God's commandments, we are trying to follow God's path. It leads us to life. If we are not following God's commandments and we want to live our selfish way, so we are choosing our own death. So the choice is depending on you, each individual. So that choice of life or choice of death, it is our freedom. So choosing our own life or choosing our own death depends on each one of us.